There's been a huge development in the Ghislaine Maxwell saga, and you're going to want to hear this because she just dropped a bombshell about Donald Trump, and you might have missed it in the mainstream media. But before we get to this, please like, share, and join Explain America. We really appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously a very evil woman, is serving 20 years behind bars. Maybe she's at Club Fed now in Texas, but still, she's behind bars. And she's been questioned by the DOJ recently. At the end of last month, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche went and paid her a little visit. Talked about at least 100 people by some accounts, talked about their cases, wanted to get more information about them apparently. And one of the things that came out in the discussion with Maxwell is something that, we've heard before, but, the media doesn't want to report it. Ghislaine Maxwell, who is the centerpiece of the Epstein operation by all accounts, obviously Epstein in 2019, he was brought up on federal charges of sex trafficking, right? They were federal sex trafficking charges. Who was he trafficking them to? Apparently, the Invisible Man and Casper the Friendly Ghost. That's it. Like, there are no names. There are no prosecutions, right? So anyway, Ghislaine Maxwell knows more than anyone about Epstein's operation. And she said that there is nothing that Trump did in all the time that both Epstein and Maxwell spent with him that was inappropriate or that compromised in any way, was of any concern, is what she reportedly said, according to ABC News. So this is not, it's new. It's more important actually than our earlier testimony to the same effect. Because Virginia Joffrey, who tragically lost her life, and, well, the authorities say it's suicide, but, she said, I'm not going to commit suicide, so we're not going to get into that. But this is the most important testimony yet. And yes, there is an interest that Maxwell has in this case. She wants a commutation for her sentence. She wants a pardon. And, maybe she wants to, dangle... So the impression that she would clear Trump's name in exchange for this commutation or pardon. That's all very fair, but she is not the only person to say this about Trump. Virginia Joffrey also said in her deposition, and you can look this up, that Trump never flirted with her, never had any inappropriate relations with any of the girls that she knew. She said this in the deposition, and you can look it up. And she essentially tried to clear Trump's name too. And this was, a long time ago, and she didn't have any conflict of interest saying those things, or potential conflict of interest, let me put it that way, because there's no reason for us to think that Ghislaine Maxwell wouldn't know about these things. And there's no hard evidence that Trump ever did anything wrong in this case. But this is like the millionth case of a media smear job against Donald Trump. And at some point, there's diminishing returns. Like, even if you are just dead set against Trump and the MAGA agenda for whatever reason ideologically, you don't have any hard evidence to believe that Donald Trump did anything wrong with Epstein. And now there are witnesses. So this is proof, this is evidence that Trump did not do anything wrong. It's not just like the lack of evidence, because we all want to know what's in these Epstein files, right? We just want to know what's going on in the U.S. government, and we want to know what they knew about Epstein's operation, because it was obviously some kind of blackmail operation. It could have been financial, but intelligence. He was an FBI informant at one point, had a very weird non-prosecution agreement and a plea deal. So, all of these things lead to some mystery around Epstein, but here's something that isn't a mystery. Not just Maxwell and Joffrey, but even the lead attorney for the victims, he said that Trump was the most cooperative of anyone he talked to about the case. So there's a trifecta of things right there of people who have come to Trump's defense. And then also, you have to look at the timing of both the 2019 Jeffrey Epstein federal prosecution on sex trafficking, as well as Ghislaine Maxwell, a few years later, was also nailed for the conspiracy. So all of the things add up to Donald Trump, his name. So like when he comes out and says this is total BS yesterday, you might have seen the video, he probably is insinuating not that it's BS for us to be concerned about the case, but that there is likely evidence in there that is like suggestive or innuendo or baseless, and that's that could be his opinion. I'm just reading the tea leaves here based on his statements. So, anyways, what do you think about this case? Ghislaine Maxwell apparently clearing Trump's name. I mean, like, who would know more than her about this case? Please provide your feedback in the comments below, and we appreciate your input.